Anna Veronica, Finding God the Hard Way, a novel by Anna Veronica. To Our Ancestors. Prologue. When the corona crisis hit the world, Anna Veronica did not blink. She was living with her mom and had no home of her own. She had not had one in more than 3 years, and what was left of her earthly belongings could fit into a small car. Anna Veronica had a few dollars in her bank account. She had just paid her monthly bills and was very happy about that. For the past 7 years, Anna Veronica's life had been a long sequence of uncertainty and chaos. One event had led to another, and although she had tried to get her life back on track, it felt as if she was being dragged from a deaf horse, running wild. Anna Veronica had experienced more pain than she ever would have thought possible. And on more than one occasion, life had been almost too hard to deal with. There was the grief, the heartache, the constant stress, the exhaustion, the sick leave, the financial collapse. Anna Veronica could no longer count how many times she had moved. She had lived on campsites, in summer houses, with friends, and also with her parents. Most of the time she had done her best to hide how bad it was, but more than once she had been on her knees praying for help. Anna Veronica had just gone back to teaching and was struggling to cope. It was only one class, but old stresses and trauma were still active in her body. This had to stop once and for all. She could no longer do this. One night she was up for hours, curled up on her bed with her hands folded, crying, praying, and pleading for release. Please set me free. Please set me free. I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to live my life while I'm here on earth. I want to be happy. I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to live. I want to feel alive. Please don't let me die. Please heal my body. Please heal my mind. Set me free. Again and again and again, the same sentences. Anna Veronica was praying to Jesus. After that she began to feel lighter, as if another layer of a seemingly endless burden were lifting. Then she watched the movie Blood Diamond with her students and realized that the 6 diamonds on a brooch that she had inherited from one of her aunts more than 30 years ago might actually be blood diamonds. She gave it back to Mother Earth. Anna Veronica had it valued some years ago because she had wanted to try and sell it, so she knew that it was worth around $1,100. Now she knew what to do. No money on the planet was worth carrying the energy of war, the blood of innocent people, child labor, and child soldiers. Anna Veronica knew exactly where to put it, by a special stone, and Mother Earth received the gift willingly. Shortly after that, Anna Veronica had a dream. She was traveling through the cosmos when she entered the crystal city. It was radiating with sparkling white light, and as she was floating above the city, she could feel her body fill up with the healing light. Then the corona crisis hit the world. Anna Veronica was not afraid. In fact, for the first weeks, she felt lighter and happier day by day. She would go for walks and sing from the top of her lungs. She would laugh her ass off at silly jokes on Facebook. Mother Earth was healing, and oh boy, could she feel it. Chapter 1. And so the story begins. Anna Veronica is sitting by her grandmother's grave. The sacred silence that comes with twilight surrounds her like a gentle veil. She can feel relaxation spreading through her body as she lowers her shoulders and breathes in the fresh sea air. She closes her eyes. For a brief moment, she can feel a rush of sadness rising within her. Then it is gone, replaced by a deep sense of gratitude. It has been a long time since she was here now. All those years living abroad, the long journey to the west coast, the divorce, and then, some years after that, well, that was when her life turned upside down and nothing would ever be the same again. Anna Veronica looks at the grave, and a tender smile lights up her face. Grandma's name is engraved in the stone, a little worn after all these years, but still visible. Olava. She was her grandmother. Ever since Anna Veronica was a little girl, Grandma was the one person, after her own mother, who meant the most to her. She can almost hear her grandmother's gentle voice as she drifts back to one of her first childhood memories. Anna Veronica is around 5 years old and is sitting on her grandma's lap with her arms around her neck, feeling loved, safe and protected. Grandma has just told her a story from when she was little and used to play in the hay in the big red barn with her little sister Runa, making dolls and animals from the straw. She is listening carefully to every word Grandma is saying. The stories must live, Anna Veronica, and fly with the wind. The stories from our ancestors who live inside us. What is an ancestor, Grandma? Anna Veronica knows that she can ask her grandmother about everything. They are the ones who walked this earth before us. But are they dead? She looks at her grandma with the wondering, innocent eyes of a child. Yes, their bodies are dead, and we can no longer see them, but their souls are alive. Grandma smiles at her and gently strokes her cheek with a finger. What is a soul, Grandma? It's the part of us that can never die. It's who we are in our hearts. But Grandma, can stories really fly? Anna Veronica is a child of many questions, and her grandma's patience is seemingly endless. Oh yes, my dear child, if you imagine that stories can fly, then they most certainly can. Anna Veronica does not know anyone else but her grandmother can say things like that, and it is not until she gets older that she realizes that there are people who find Grandma to be a bit different. She does not understand it when she's little, but some people smile a little doubtfully at her grandmother behind her back. But Anna Veronica just listens. To her, Grandma is a star. Anna Veronica returns from the past. She giggles at the thought of her grandma. No matter what people might have thought about her, she never stopped being herself. Anna Veronica lies down in the grass. She lifts her eyes to the sky and fills her lungs with the fresh air. A seagull floats gently in the distance, softly spreading its wings against the light blue evening sky. Anna Veronica follows the white bird with her eyes, enjoying the soft rhythm of the wings as it slowly moves across the sky. Then she closes her eyes, and in her imagination she spreads her wings. Anna Veronica floats higher and higher up in the air, feeling the breeze in her face, seeing the landscape below her. She can feel the memories living inside her, the stories from her ancestors, those who live inside her. She is carried like a child by the wind. Anna Veronica becomes the flying story. Grandma is sitting in her cozy chair by the window in her living room, gazing at the mountains in the distance. Her hands are folded, and she is gently twiddling her thumbs. It is a sweet habit she has. Her eyes are wet with tears. "Are you crying, Grandma?" Anna Veronica looks at her grandma with sad but curious eyes. "No, my angel, I am not sad." Grandma smiles lovingly at Anna Veronica through her tears. "But why are you crying, Grandma?" Anna Veronica has a lump in her throat. She found it difficult seeing anyone sad, least of all her grandma. "I am crying because I am grateful." Grandma wipes her eyes and smiles warmly at Anna Veronica. "Why are you grateful, Grandma?" She looks into the elderly woman's eyes. Sometimes she thinks they are the dark blue of the ocean. "I am grateful that I found God in my heart, right in here." Grandma holds her hand to her heart. "In there? Is God in there?" Anna Veronica puts her hand on Grandma's heart, but her grandmother gently takes her little hand and places it on her own heart. "God is in here, Anna Veronica. God is in your own heart." Anna Veronica has a big smile on her little face. Grandma always makes her feel special and loved. Anna Veronica returns from the memory. She puts both her hands on her heart and feels how her chest expands as she breathes in and out. She can feel her tears just beneath the surface and closes her eyes. Anna Veronica whispers into the air, "Why me? Why did this become my journey?" After all these years, she still has moments when she wishes that none of it had ever happened. Anna Veronica slowly sits up and her eyes wander to the stone next to Olava's. The names are hardly visible anymore, but she knows one of them, Eystein. He was Grandma's little brother. She knows that he died when he was a young boy. Her grandmother had told her about him once when she was about 13 years old. Anna Veronica drifts back to that day. Grandma and Anna Veronica are walking in nature. The warm, deep red colors of autumn are glowing in the light from the calming afternoon sun. Grandma's face is shining as her eyes wander across the landscape. "Look at our mother, Anna Veronica. She is dressed up in her most beautiful colors. It's her change of season party, you know, at this time of year. She is getting ready to rest through the winter." Anna Veronica laughs with her grandma. She always talks about nature as their mother. They arrive at the churchyard a little later. Grandma carefully opens the old wooden gate and slowly approaches the grave. They have been here before, but Anna Veronica can sense that there is something different about Grandma today. She stands for a while by the stone with her eyes softly resting on the name, Eystein. Then quietly they find a spot in the grass. When Grandma speaks, her voice is soft and quiet. "There is something I want to tell you, Anna Veronica. You are becoming a young woman now." Grandma looks at her with loving eyes, and Anna Veronica nods her head, almost imperceptibly. "When I was your age, I had a little brother. You can see his name there, Eystein." Grandma gently touches the letters with her fingers. Anna Veronica does not speak. Ever since she was a little girl, she could sense how other people felt, and today she can feel her grandmother's sadness. When Grandma speaks again, her voice is like a soft breeze, gently soothing her soul. "His name was Eystein. He died when he was little. It was in the summer, and we were up in the mountains. He was only a little boy, and I was supposed to look after him. Grandma lowers her head and clears her throat. When she continues, her eyes rest softly on the horizon. It was an accident. Grandma wipes a lonely tear running down her cheek. Then she lowers her head softly. Anna Veronica is listening carefully to every word. Grandma is sharing a story from her life that she has never heard before. I went into a state of shock when it happened. I didn't know what to do, where to go or who to turn to. I felt guilty, that it was my fault. After some time I left my home, my mother and father and my little sister Runa. Little by little my life became meaningless and without hope. Grandma pauses for a moment, and when she continues, there is a spark in her watery eyes. He was so full of love and life and joy. I loved him from the day he was born. I still love him. I have loved him every day of my life. Grandma looks at Anna Veronica with her warm eyes. Just like I love you, Anna Veronica. Anna Veronica smiles a shy smile and is touched by the tender moment. She can feel Grandma's love for her. For many years I was very lonely. I was in a very dark place. Then I met some people who helped me. They helped me open my eyes. Grandma holds a hand to her heart with a peaceful smile. You see, my beautiful granddaughter, love is the only thing that matters while we are here on earth. The love that we feel in our hearts for ourselves and everything around us. We are connected to everything. Find this love in your heart, Anna Veronica. That is where God lives. Anna Veronica smiles between the world of the past and the world of the present. She closes her eyes. A soft breeze caresses her face, just like the magic touch of a gentle lover. The words bring back memories. Anna Veronica whispers into open space. I'm learning, Grandma. I'm learning. She softly shakes her head, and a well of sadness rises within her. Then tears flow from her eyes. I just didn't know that it was going to be so hard. She wipes her eyes with her hands and dries them softly in the grass. Let your tears fall to the ground. Anna Veronica remembers the words that were spoken by a medicine woman at a ceremony that she had attended a while back. She was one of the many shamans that Anna Veronica had met since she embarked on a spiritual journey many years ago. She rests her tilted head on her knees and looks at the name in the stone, Olava. Then she whispers, I love you, Grandma. Grandma dies at the age of 78. Anna Veronica remembers that day. She is 17 and visits her at the hospital in the last hours of her life. Her own mother, Lea Maria, is there with her two brothers, Torstein and Benjamin, Anna Veronica's uncles. They are by their mother's side, holding her hand and caring for her. Grandma is drifting in and out of consciousness. Anna Veronica is crying, but she knows that Grandma is not afraid to die, rather more excited and eager at what lays ahead. Eager to meet her little brother again. She has told her so. Anna Veronica's eyes rest on little brother's name for a while, Eystein. She takes a closer look at the dates. He was only 5 when he died. She wonders what had really happened back then. Grandma had told her that they were up in the mountains and that for a long time she felt guilty for what had happened. But there is so much she does not know. Anna Veronica asked her mom about Eystein after Grandma told her about the accident, and she shared with her what she knew, but it was not much more than what Grandma had already told her. "I know that he died when he was little." Her mom searched her memory. "But do you know how he died?" Anna Veronica was eager to know more. "I don't know. It was an accident of some kind." Her mom shook her head. Grandma also said that she left her home and her family, and she was very lonely for a long time, and some people helped her. Do you know who they were? Her mom nodded her head slowly and smiled warmly. "Yes, Grandma told me once. The people who helped her were Romani, the traveling people. She told me this when you were born. You see, we wanted to name you Anna after Grandma's mom, your great-grandma, but we also wanted to give you a second name. This was when Grandma told us about a woman that she once knew who had helped her a lot. Her name was Veronica, and she was a Romani woman. I believe she was some kind of medicine woman among their people. You are named after your great-grandmother and this woman." Her mom smiled at her, but could not tell her much more. Anna Veronica remembered Grandma's story about Eystein and what her mom had told her, but she never got around to asking more about it. She was a teenager then, and her life became occupied by other things. She cannot believe how many years have passed. Her own children grown now. Anna Veronica puts her head to the ground and breathes in the moist air from the earth and the grass. She rubs her face into the ground, and when she sits up, it is wet and dirty. Then she laughs for no apparent reason. This is something she has been doing for some time lately. It is not something she plans. It just comes out of nowhere. The same thing happens with tears. Anna Veronica finds a tissue in her purse, wipes her face and blows her nose. She lifts her shoulders, then lets them drop. They are tense after the long journey. She takes a deep breath in and bends backwards to stretch. Anna Veronica looks around the churchyard. She can see no one else. That is good. She enjoys being all by herself. These past years, she has often visited churchyards just to walk quietly along the paths and read the names on the stones and the little texts chosen by the loved ones. There is just something about death. It has become so natural to her, almost soothing in a way. Anna Veronica smiles to herself and shakes her head. These past years she has had a few ideas for the text on her own tombstone. To sum up, they would read something like this. 1. So F what? She was not much for swearing, but there was just something about life. 2. She wasn't perfect, but did her best. A little boring, but nevertheless it was true, and one that she had suggested to her children, who thought it was kind of funny. 3. What the heck was that all about? She was frustrated when she had this idea. 4. At least she died trying. True, she tried, and she tried, and she tried. 5. If you're in a hole, stop digging. Anna Veronica loved this one. It was funny. Imagine having a tombstone where people would actually laugh when they saw it. That would be great. 6. I am not coming back to this planet. She did not tell many that this was how she felt, but she sure did feel this way. When this life was over, she was not coming back. 7. She only wanted to cuddle an unga bunga. Yes, Mr. Magic, this was all she ever wanted. 8. Well, here I am. This one came after she had given up and surrendered. She was, after all, here. Anna Veronica laughs at the thought of what might become the next idea for the text on her tombstone. That is, if she is ever going to have one, of course. To have her ashes spread out in the vast open sea or on a high mountain top might be just as good. On the other hand, she is still here, so why even think about it? Anna Veronica can feel a giggling sensation rising from within her. She shakes her head and laughs about the years that have passed and the challenges she has faced. Every time she thought it could not get any worse, it did. Her life had slowly but surely fallen apart. And the pain, oh boy, the pain. She closes her eyes and lowers her head as she drifts back to a memory. It must have been a few years ago. Anna Veronica is in her bed, her knees curled up, her arms around her pillow. Every cell in her body is aching. The pain is immense. She wants it so desperately to go away. And her throat, it feels as though she's slowly suffocating. It feels like she's being tortured, and it has been going on for so long, on and off. How many years? She cannot even remember anymore. 2, 3, or more? Why won't it stop? Why can't she make it go away? Why can't she come to her goddamn senses and make it go away? She does not know what to do anymore. She wants so badly to cry, but is unable to. She has tried to be strong all this time, but she cannot handle it anymore. Anna Veronica begins to pray. Please, God, let me cry, please. At least let me cry, please. A few tears run down her cheeks, but that is all. Why can she not cry? It is not that much to ask for, really. She cannot even be angry. Why can she not be angry? God, I'm not asking for much. Are you there? She continues to pray. Please, God, please let me cry. Please let me cry. Then finally, Anna Veronica is able to cry. Not much, but a few tears, and she has a small feeling of relief. She feels as if she can breathe again, and is grateful. Anna Veronica is back in the churchyard. She shakes her head and wipes her eyes. It was not her own home or her own bed she was lying in back then, but it was the place she was renting at the time, and the bed she was sleeping in, at least for a couple of months, staying in the annex of a good friend. She cannot recall how many times she has moved these past years, staying with friends, in campsites, in summer houses, and with her parents in between moving. She has hardly any earthly goods left. What scares Anna Veronica most is that if it were not for her mum, she might have faced homelessness. During all this time, it sometimes felt as if she is the only person who really cares. But Anna Veronica knows that it is not true. She does not exactly share with people what kind of mess she is in. She is too proud. All this because of a man. Anna Veronica sighs and looks at Olava's name in the stone. Did you hear that, Grandma? And would you believe it? All this because of a man? Me? Strong, independent me? She laughs resignedly. Well, it was not because of a man, of course. Anna Veronica knows that now. In fact, it had absolutely nothing to do with the man, but it had taken her some time to understand that. Every now and then, Anna Veronica still wonders about everything that has happened, and a part of her still wishes it never had. She wonders about the obsession, the constant pain, the despair, the stress, the heartbreak, the depression, and the grief. But as the years pass, the whole thing becomes more blurred in a way. It is as if it becomes part of a distant past. Somehow and somewhere along the line, Anna Veronica begins to forget. It feels as if though the whole journey becomes part of what she believes the Australian Aborigines would call dreamtime. Not that she knows much about it, but in a way it does not feel real anymore. It feels as if it happened in another time and in another dimension. Anna Veronica is getting ready to leave the churchyard. She's going back to the summer house. It is her parents' place, and she has got 2 weeks on her own to write. That is when she sees it. The symbol on Grandma's tombstone. In the upper left corner, it is the heart, cross, and anchor inside a circle. The symbol for faith, hope, and love. Anna Veronica hesitates for a moment, then slowly raises her hand to her throat, carefully feeling her neck. She is wearing a silver necklace with the exact same symbol. It is one that she has had for years. She is not even sure who she got it from anymore. A relative at her confirmation when she was 15, if she remembers correctly. Anna Veronica takes it off and holds it in her hand for some time. Her eyes rest on the heart, the cross, and the anchor inside the circle. Then an energy moves through her body, and she knows what to do. Anna Veronica sits down on her knees and starts digging a hole in the soil in front of the stone. When it is deep enough, she gently lowers the necklace into the ground and covers it. This is for you, Grandma, and for all the love you gave to this world. Anna Veronica stands for a while by the grave. Her eyes rest on the names Olava and Eystein. She holds both her hands on her heart. The center of her chest feels like a pulsating energy field.